Steve Marco, I would love to hear your old stories with Black Bart.
Well, the best story I have with Black Bart is I was in mid-Atlantic territory when Dusty was the booker. And he has this brilliant idea that he wants to put me and Black Bart and Randy Colley together as the Desperados. Have you ever seen this?
Do you know, we've discussed the Desperados on this very podcast before. It's actually quite well acted.
Well,
you threw yourself into the role, Dutch.
I did. Well, I enjoyed doing it. But it's three bumbling cowboys who were like stupid. And we were on a conquest to meet up with Stan Hansen. That was like the major thing to do. And I used to say, listen, guys, we're sitting in the same dressing room with Stan Hansen every night. So why can't we meet him? But he's right there. Why don't they bring a camera in here and let's meet him? And people used to say, hey, Black Bart's in there. Stan Hansen's in there. He's in there with you guys. Which what I'm saying is it didn't make any sense to like house shows. And finally, I don't know what happened, but I think they wanted Stan Hansen to actually do a vignette with us. And he says, nah, I'm not interested. And then he got up and he just walked out. He didn't give a notice or nothing. He was just gone. So we ran off the guy that we were trying to meet. And Black Bart, he'd say, Dad, gummit. He was really a fun guy and really a good worker. And the last time I heard about Black Bart, I think he's a little bit sick now.
I think he's very sick now. I believe he's announced he had stage 4 cancer.
Well, he was sick before. And I remember when we left, and I left Mid-Atlantic, is because they had this idea they wanted just to ship me to Florida because they wanted to start another territory down there. Mm-hmm. Like the original office went out of business and they took it over and they wanted to call it Charlotte South. Mm-hmm. I went, why would you go to Tampa or Miami or Jacksonville, in those towns, and call it Charlotte South? I mean, you're not going to draw any Charlotte people down to Florida, but you are going to draw Florida people. So why don't you call it something Florida? So when I heard that, I said, no. And then I kind of gave my notice and I left going there too, because I said, listen, guys, I don't mind going, but what am I going to make? And they could never come up with a figure. Well, we can't really guarantee you. I said, well, I can't guarantee I'm going to be there either. So I left.
How come Black Bart was always like a regional hit? I don't really remember him doing anything in any of the major promotions.
He's from Texas. So he worked basically in Texas and Oklahoma and probably just through the South. Because I had a chance one time to go to Oregon, which Kevin Sullivan was a good friend, and he called me and said, you need to come up here. And I said, he said, oh, you'd love it up here, blah, blah, blah. So then I got a map out and I got to looking. That's how you know I'm from down south. I got to looking. Then I looked how far it was. I said, nah, I don't think I need to do that Oregon trail wagon stuff. That's too far to go. Because if it was even Detroit, I never went to Detroit. I never went up north to work because I never liked cold weather. I like to say south where I was familiar with everything and people talked like me and I could get along with them. But but I didn't like the cold weather. And Bart was the same way. He wanted to stay down south, and he did. So what is wrong with Bart, did you say?
I think he's got stage 4 cancer.
Good guy.
Mm.
Good guy.